the MGM Grand Garden Arena right now. But what about Miguel Cotto's style of coming to the arena and sitting in the front row?
He always does that. He is a big fan, and he comes and supports all of his teammates. Even tonight when he fought Shane Mosley, if you remember, in New York, he was in the arena right over there, I think, for about the second fight of the night. He always does that.
And some people would say, oh, that's going to distract you. He says it relaxes him.
He's an unusually relaxed man. In fact, the only fight that I recall ever when we was interviewing him, he had his whole family. We have 12 seats on the other side of the table, and all of those seats were occupied by his father, his mother, his kids. He's an unusually relaxed man.
Well, and we asked him, what's the reason that you brought the entire entourage into the room? And he said simply, it's a big fight. They want to share in everything. And you've told me in the past, Emmanuel, that the one other fighter you saw who would come into the arena and commune with fans before the fight was a heavyweight named Muhammad Ali.
Yep, Cassius Clay at the time particularly used to always like to come and watch his younger brother at the time, Rockman, and he would always come and support him, cheer him on, and then go change up. But Cotto is a very unusual guy. You know, he says he likes to have his family with him because he's relaxed with him. And it probably works for him. It may not work for other fighters, but it works for him.
Well, it's worked so far. I mean, one of the things that he brings into the fight with Margarito tonight is the mystique of the unbeaten fighter. You know, until we see him lose, it's hard to criticize anything Miguel Cotto chooses to do. Right. Alvarado's starting to make his point here in round 3 as he drives Bazan back into the ropes with a couple of hard power shots.
That's what I was going to say. We're talking about Cotto, but right now there's a good fight breaking out up here in front of us. Bazan is throwing power punches himself in his legs. I don't think he feels he can take him through a good 10 or 12 rounds, so he's letting it all hang out now.
You heard Alvarado's trainer, Shan Vilhauer, very energetically saying between rounds, you know, you're not getting off as much as I want you to. Be more careful and don't get caught with something. Bazan tries to catch Alvarado with something right there. Takes a big shot, comes back with 3 more big ones of his own. What a crowd-pleasing fight this has been so far through the first 3 rounds. And we mentioned that Antonio Margarito had indeed come into the arena just about 10 minutes ago with his wife Michelle and his son by his side. Big grin for Margarito, who is involved tonight in the biggest event of his career. He's waited quite a while for this kind of showcase fight, and just as Cotto from his side seems to be wanting to make the most of the event, so too has Margarito. And incidentally, there's been no trash talk. There's been no degradation. There's been no dissing of the other fighter by either man. Neither could have been more professional in their build-up to the fight and more respectful of the opponent in the things that they have said about what they're expecting here.
And to some degree, both have disdained and avoided getting into the Mexican-Puerto Rican type situation. They're looking at it as 2 fights against 2 warriors.
Go. CompuBox numbers in 3. Alvarado 32 out of 88. High output for the fight. Good numbers. Bazan 26 out of 71. Both of them landing some significant power shots. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28, Mike Alvarado. Jim, I'll tell you a few interesting things about Cesar Bazan. Number 1, in round 1, he worked his right hand real well. In rounds 2 and 3, he throws it very, very rarely. I think he hurt his right hand. He's working his left, just like you see there, but he's not throwing the right hand. He'll hold it back until it doesn't hurt him anymore, then he'll let it go. Another thing, most Mexican fighters are bob and weave guys. Cesar Bazan's a stand-up, straight stand-up guy that's making it very, very easy for Mike Alvarado to hit him with a right hand. 2-1, Alvarado.
Well, when you watch a young prospect like Alvarado, and he's promoted by Top Rank, you know that every opponent is being carefully chosen by Bruce Trampler, who may be the most outstanding matchmaker in a sport full of good, well-thinking matchmakers. Trampler is a guy who is excellent at choosing every kind of challenge along the way for a young fighter as they develop. It's particularly critical for a fighter like Alvarado, who came late to the sport of boxing.
I think Bruce Trampler is maybe the greatest matchmaker when it comes to developing a prospect. Some matchmakers are just making good matches exciting just for the promotion, but he makes competitive fights, but enough for his prospective fighters have to win, but they have to be extended.
And I'd like to list right here all of the guys who share Trampler's job and do well at it. Eric Gomez at Golden Boy, Mike Marciante, who has worked for both Contender and Lou DiBella in the past. There are several others whose names are worthy of mention here, but I think any of them would tell you Trampler is the guy who has the longest, most proven track record.
Yeah, of developing a young fighter. Oscar De La Hoya, you go to Floyd Mayweather Jr., all of those fighters pretty much developed through the matchmaking of Bruce Trampler.
Right now, Alvarado is one of the beneficiaries of Trampler's choices, and he's working his way through Cesar Bazan.
And Miguel Cotto.
Now, what do you think of Harold's theory that Bazan might have hurt his right hand, Harold?
Well, it's hard to tell. He's throwing that chop hand right, but I thought that Alvarado may have hurt his the way he was shaking it between rounds. But the biggest punch that both of them is throwing is right-hand punches in the fight. So evidently, I don't think there's a problem.
Bazan goes to one knee after a big right-hand shot by Alvarado. He takes his mouthpiece out. He curls down to the canvas. He looks like he's headed back to El Paso. And referee Russell Mora waves it off. A fourth-round knockout for Mike Alvarado, who simply busted down the wall with a series of hard punches in round 4.
Very, very impressive. Couldn't do it with one punch. He did it with accumulation of punches.
Alvarado knew that he had to look impressive on a card designed to make him look that way. He said impressive would be beating up Bazan within 6 or 7 rounds. Mission accomplished.
Our Max Kellerman is now going to go into the ring and interview Mike Alvarado, coming off of that outstanding showcase performance. And the way Bazan succumbed and decided not to continue with the combat suggests that it could be that Harold Letterman was onto something about the hurt right hand, or it simply could be that at his age and after all his years of experience, Bazan knew the score and didn't want to take any unwarranted risks. Good replay here, and you saw that straight right hand that finished.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, just accumulation of punches, as you said. Succumb is probably the proper word, Jim. It just was too much of everything.
The uppercut hurt. The straight right hand grazed past the temple, but did some damage as well. Bazan grimacing as he goes to the canvas. And the moment he pulled out the mouthpiece, you knew that we were done. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, this bout comes to an end at 2 minutes, 46 seconds of round number 4. The winner by knockout victory, still undefeated. His record now 22-0, 15 KOs. From Thornton, Colorado, Mike Alvarado.
Final CompuBox numbers. Alvarado seemed to get stronger as the fight went on, ultimately landing 40% of his total punches, and many of them strong power shots. Bazan, who had a very good round 1, scored for him by Harold Letterman, winds up at 84 out of 250. Alvarado wasn't all that unwilling a target. Power shots, Alvarado landing 49% of them, and that's a very good number. In the first fight, you saw Bernabe Concepcion land 60% of his power shots by CompuBox count. That's a lights out number. 49% is almost always a benchmark of great success. Bazan 49 out of 111, but his punches were increasingly limp as the fight went on, and now Max Kellerman stands by with rising unbeaten prospect Mike Alvarado.
Mike, congratulations on an excellent performance. You told us yesterday that if you were to stop him in 6 or 7 rounds, mission would be accomplished. You did it in 4. Grade your performance.
I give it a B, strong B+. He came out strong. His experience, showed real well in the first couple rounds. I thought I started off a little slow, but I got stronger as the rounds came, but I feel good.
Did you feel his power at all in the first round? He hit you with a couple of uppercuts.
Yeah, he hit me with a couple pretty good stinging shots, but nothing to ever hurt me. I felt good.
Okay, you're in a division that does not have a super dominant fighter right now, though it is a deep division. Where do you see yourself right now at junior welterweight?
I see myself contending in the top 10 from here, this next fight on at 140. But I feel really good and comfortable at my weight and really strong. So we'll get back to the drawing boards and see what's going next.
Well, you mentioned 140. You haven't fought actually at 140 pounds a whole lot. Are you making weight okay? Do you see yourself as a junior welterweight or a welterweight?
I see myself as a junior welterweight. The extra couple pounds won't hurt me at all. I feel really comfortable at where I'm at now, but I feel good.
Is there anyone out there that you see at 140 pounds that you would like to fight in the near future?
I mean, there's so many names out there, man. It's a long list of good opponents out there, good champions. Anyone in the top 10, I'm coming. Anyone from 10 on up, and I'm working my way up, and I'm coming for you.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Jim.